Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Mike, very excited to have this opportunity to sit down with you. You know, obviously I've been seeing you at Altea. We are the Altea Black Men. There's a small active crew of us, but we out here, right? So, okay, man, you've always been telling me about your business, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard to really put two and two unless you're actually in front of the beast, right? So I guess to begin, right, tell me more about what you do.
So, let's go back 3 years. Basically, I've been in sales for about 8 years.
Yeah.
And was in the travel space since 2015. And
Yeah.
2020 hit, pandemic hit, everything happened. And then the company that I was with at that time went bankrupt.
Okay.
So I was in this space, I was in this transition of like, what's next? Just like everybody else. I think we're all in this space of like, what's next? What's going on?
Yeah.
Got into the space of just AI and automated trading and all that stuff. And at the time when I first got into it, I had no real idea of how powerful this space
So
really was.
if you don't mind me stopping
Yeah.
for a second, how did you get into that space? Because AI, crypto trading are very obscure things for the general public, right? So like, did you get some sort of tip? Did you have some guru, or what gave you the
just former colleagues
Okay.
from my previous endeavor. So basically, what happened was, they reached out to me. She said, she said, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
And I checked it out. I was like,
Yeah.
man, this is really cool. I think during that time in 2020, I was learning more about financial literacy.
Yeah.
So people groups like Earn Your Leisure, guys who started a financial literacy company out of New York. I was listening to them on YouTube.
Yeah.
So in 2020, I was just learning about financial literacy,
Yeah.
compound interest, all these different things. So it was a perfect situation. Beginning of January of 2021, I got started just as an investor in the space of automated trading.
Okay.
And then what happened was I grew with the company, and then became took advantage of the affiliate marketing side of it. Grew by thousands of people. Income skyrocketed.
Wait, so sorry to break down. Like, how did you grow it so quickly? That's phenomenal.
So I have a pretty big network. I lived in the States for 12 years.
Okay.
So after I graduated high school.
Yeah. So you went to high school in Canada? And then you went to school in the States?
I went to school in the States, moved to Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, so spent 2 years in Arizona, then I moved to Kansas City. I ended up finishing school, finishing baseball there, and then kind of got myself a job, and just kind of started life in Kansas City. I was there for 9 years. So I was about there for about 12 years.
How was KC too, if you don't mind me asking? It's not one of the cities you hear too often outside of the Chiefs these days,
For sure.
Yeah.
I love it because it wasn't a big city, so you're able to find yourself in a city like that. In a bigger city, you get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But it was a perfect situation for me because I was in the city, smaller city. I was able to find myself. I stumbled a couple times, made a couple mistakes, was able to pick myself back up.
Okay.
So I love the city. It's a great city, but it's a city that if you're focused about growth and you're focusing about getting to the next level, you will hit a ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. So I got to that point where in 2017 was when I hit that ceiling.
Yeah.
And 2018 ended up moving and just leaving, coming back to Toronto, but. Love Kansas City. Still to this day, I have amazing friends, amazing mentors that are there. People who have definitely shaped my life.
Yeah.
But I hit a ceiling, and I was like, all right, either I stay here, and my life is going to be this exact same way until I decide to leave, or I decide to leave now.
Yeah.
And that was kind of just what it was. So, 2017, I booked a one-way flight back to Toronto. And at the time, I had an entertainment company. I was a DJ.
Yeah.
So I did that. Was DJing at the hottest nightclubs, doing corporate events for the CEO of Sprint, CEO of T-Mobile. I was doing corporate events for the Kansas City Chiefs. Doing a lot of cool things in the city.
Yeah.
People thought I was crazy that I packed up my things and just left. I had everything planned out. I had everything was perfect.
Yeah.
I worked so hard to get to where I was at.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I just hit this level where I was like, there's more for me somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to probably be back home. Let me go home and just check it out and see how it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of like how it is, how it was. And then basically went on my journey of automation.
Yeah.
I had clients at the beginning of the journey and then helped them make a lot of money. And then what happened was they're like, yo, where else do we put this money? Where should we diversify? Where should we do this? So in my mind, I was like, man, I have a consulting business right here in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of like where I decided to go pivot next.
Okay.
Was to, all right, let me create a consulting business.
So okay, so how like what so you're in KC, right? You've established a life there, right?
Yeah.
And you come. So first thing I want to ask you is like, why back to Toronto? Like, why not New York? Why not LA? Why not like Miami?
I thought about LA.
Yeah.
But it just didn't seem right.
Yeah.
Family was here.
Okay, yeah.
And, you know, so for me, it was the easiest transition for me to kind of be able to find myself.
Yeah.
But then I come back, and then I was 2018. I came back, and all my friends that I was friends with 12 years ago, they're married, have kids. So it was a different situation. Like, you know, it was just different. So I had to kind of find new people to hang out with, find like-minded individuals. So
Find new legs, eh?
yeah, just find new people. So
Yeah.
for me, when I got back, I would go to a lot of networking events. That was when we were talking about it earlier. Like literally, like that was when Toronto was just in a big boom, where everyone was just like everyone was out having a good time, good vibes. Back in like 2018, and we were literally like those were lit days. Like they were just super lit. And we would have there was networking events. You go to networking events maybe like 2-3 times a week.
Yeah.
You know, they had them all everywhere. So it was perfect. It was cool. It was how I met a lot of cool people, and that's kind of like how I got the momentum.
So is that when you got into automation, or is that like?
When I first moved back, I was still in the travel space.
Yeah.
In sales.
Yeah.
And then in 2020 happened.
Yeah.
That was when I did the pivot. And
Okay.
I kind of like had to shift in what I was doing. I love sales. You know, for me, if I'm passionate about something and I love it, then I'm a firm believer of it. Then yeah, I could sell it to whoever I need to sell it to. I've always been that way.
Sell ice to an Eskimo.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. So that was kind of like where I made the transition. January 2021 was when I made the transition to automation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, guide me on the story for that, because that's also something that obviously not a lot of people know about, right?
Yeah.
So where'd you get like the keys for that?
So the keys was honestly, I think it just for me it was just a perfect situation because I got out of sales. When I was in sales,
Yeah.
it was like, all right, I have to chase the next check. I'm chasing the next sale. I'm chasing the next. So
Tell me about
for
it.
me, like I was in this hamster wheel, and then in my mind, I'm like, man, there's got to be more to this. Like,
Yeah.
what is there? I'm missing something. And I still see it till this day. I still see network marketers, affiliate marketers, people who are in sales who I don't understand. Like, there's another phase, there's another step.
Yeah.
So I tell people there's 3 types of people in the world. Number 1, people who work for money. Second type of person is the person who creates money, so like commission based or whatever.
Yeah.
Then there's the third type is people who multiply money.
Okay.
Right. The multiplying was the one that I missed. Right. So when I got in this automation space, and I was realizing, man, like I could invest hands off, be fully automated, and I could get a return on my investment.
Yeah.
Every day, every week, every month. That blew me away. I felt like I found like the gold.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for it for the last 12, 14 months when I was listening to those podcasts, Earn the Leisure podcasts. I just didn't know where to look, or I knew there was something out there, but I just didn't know where to find it. You know what I mean? Entry point in. So that was kind of like how it happened, and then once I got into it, it just then I was like, all right, let me turn this into a business where I could teach people how they could invest and kind of diversify their portfolio, so they're not relying on one thing.
Okay. And then to further iterate, like, do you focus specifically on crypto?
So we're actually diversifying. So now I'm even like, it's crazy how this space has evolved so fast.
Yeah.
And so for me, at first it was like, hey, let me just teach people how they could just invest, money in, get an ROI every day, every week, every month, whatever.
Yeah.
And got to that. Now we're getting to a place where AI is, growing even faster than where it was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now do teach people how they could build, how to automate, and how to scale their business. So a lot of people through automation. So a lot of people who have a business don't have an online presence at all.
Yeah.
You know, or they struggle with an online presence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now what we're doing is we're helping people scale. No matter if you're an affiliate marketer, no matter if you're someone who's in solar, no matter whatever you do.
Yeah.
You know, you are your own brand.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're doing any type of commission sales, you have to have a brand.
Yeah.
You know, a personal brand that people could go to and refer to. So we're just teaching people how they can use automation to be able to build, automate, and scale their business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned solar. You mean like flow through?
So I have one of my best friends, Morgan. She is amazing. She supported me for so many years when I was DJing, met her in Kansas City. She's killing it in solar.
Yeah.
She's out in Vegas. So talking about when she goes and she has a team and you know they panels, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I have friends in Vegas, I have friends in Florida, I have friends in New York who are crushing solar.
Yeah.
You know, and I have friends in different industries that are just crushing it, but they also have their own personal brand. You know what I mean? They're really good on the sales side.
Yeah.
But also a big struggle for a lot of people who are in this space is their online presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, getting ready to invest with a company with a good friend of mine who's going to help this industry like Shopify, no matter what type of if you have an online store or any online brand, we'll be able to kind of help you build your brand from scratch, or if you already have a brand, how we can help you kind of keep everything up to date through a monthly subscription, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so we just talked about the past, discussed the present, you know, so I'm going to do the whole like Scrooge thing, right? What's the future?
Well, future is just talking to guys about this. Literally, the future is the next big thing. Is I would really love to create a hedge fund. To be able to just create something to where we are the source where we can invest for our clients. I think really what it is we appoint our clients to, hey, invest here, invest there.
Yeah.
You know, you can kind of take your own, you can kind of do it by yourself and kind of create your own account. Help you step through the steps. The next thing is definitely for us to be able to have our own infrastructure to where, you know what, you're the investor, we'll tell you, you know, how much ROI you're going to get per month. Everything's good, you can invest with us, we'll take care of all the back end stuff for you, all good.
Okay, so that's actually very awesome, and it's funny because like I have a lot of things to speak on that one. But so are you going to partner with a family office at all, or are you going to partner with like someone that provides you deal flow, or is it like
Haven't gotten to that far yet in the specific details of who I'm going to partner with on it. Just an idea that we've had, and I've had some people who have some clients of mine who are like, yo, you know, and I have people who are like, literally, hey, take this, you know, hey, I'll give you this, invest it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, there's another business here that I have, you know, I could create, you know, so.
That's really interesting, actually.
You know what I mean? So it's just, at the end of the day, like, I look up to, I followed Grant Cardone's story on real estate.
Yeah.
Out in Miami.
Yeah.
He's done a great job with what, you know, he's done with sales and building his empire that he has now, kind of following the steps. And one of the biggest steps that he does in real estate is creates a fund, you know, and he says, hey, I'm looking at this, you know, 300, 400, 500 door unit in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking for accredited investors who wants to come and invest. So what he does is he says, hey, you know what, I'm looking for accredited investors, you invest, we're here, and I'll cut you a residual check every month. You know, but that spot is in the company name. He has the equity to that. You know what I mean? So it's essentially just becoming your own bank. Yeah,
that's really interesting. Do you believe in serendipity?
Do I believe in serendipity? Explain to me what serendipity is, so I'm lost on that.
So it's basically just, you know what's funny when I think about it, I don't even know what it means, but so basically it's like things happening out of non-coincidence, right?
Yeah.
So recently I've realized that like my life happens almost in concert. It's weird. Yeah. It's like a song. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I recently became a placement agent.
Okay.
Now what that means basically is that I have people, I have broker dealers like the Canacords of the world, the Gravitas Securities of the world, other places, right? They shoot me deals.
Okay. And
then they tell me, well, if you have investors, let me know, and we can figure out a way how to get you involved in this deal, right? So I work with wealth management advisors. I work with high network investors. I'm on both ends of the thing. So it's pretty interesting because I think maybe it could be a future there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Totally. I get hit up a lot now. People hit me up with a lot of different ideas.
Yeah.
And some ideas, if I see the vision in it, then definitely love to see more information. Love to actually be a part of what's going on. And there's others that I just don't see the vision in. And
Okay, what's the worst deal you've ever seen?
Oh my god.
I love talking about this, man. I love talking.
I don't know. I think the worst thing that I've ever seen. That's a tough question. Honestly, everything that I've honestly seen has been like cool.
Yeah.
I would say like there's certain investments where I would look at it and say I have a better shot at an ROI here than I do over here. Or if I'm going to do this, then it's really, I don't look at it as an investment. I look at it as all right, maybe I'm trying to help this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than me actually going to get an ROI from this.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say, man, all of them has been. I've never come across something that. I've had people pitch to me about their rap careers or certain different startup companies or whatnot. And I'll never shun anyone from an idea that they've had or something that they're passionate about and say this is like the worst thing. I'll never do that. It's just me as in alignment with my thought, and do I catch the energy? Do I see? Does it match? That's really what it comes down to, right? So that's really what it is. But I'll never say that someone's idea is bad or anything like that. We all think the same, all think differently, right? So.
No, I seen one terrible idea. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
Flying car company.
Flying car. Cars fly?
This is the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because it's 2023, investment capital is not easy to come by.
Yeah.
And pitching a flying car is like the most Flintstone thing I've ever heard in my life.
So how does that?
Well, okay, so that's a weird thing about deal flow. You probably understand this too. There's a lot of companies that do what I call vaporware, right? So it's like they're selling the idea. There's actually no firm thing. They have not manufactured a flying car. It's the idea of give us money and we'll figure out a way to actually create it. But just the idea and the logistics of a flying car, man. You know how many times I almost got hit by a car on the way here today? You think you're gonna trust these idiots to give me a flying car? It's the wildest thing, right? Different shapes and whatnot. Yeah. So this is the last thing I'll ask you, right?
Yeah, sure.
If you could go back to 13-year-old Mike, right?
Yeah.
If you could tell him one thing, what would that be?
13-year-old Mike. What's the one thing I would say? Man, stay away from women. I would say, Mike, just stay focused, man. Like, focus on your success. I feel like that's number one. I feel like, to really be honest and talk about it, that's the number one thing that most men struggle with. Yeah. Is, we're all, as men, we're all meant to be able to provide, protect, all of that stuff, right? But also at the same time, most men are so distracted. Most men are not where they want to be yet. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're still trying to give attention to something that they shouldn't give attention to. Because really, if you're a high value man, at the end of the day, the attention should come to you. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, and I've been on both sides of the spectrum, man. I've been in a relationship when I was broke, and I look back and I'm like, I had no clue, I had no reason why I should be in that relationship. And then now I look at myself now, and I've taken the years to work on myself and get to where I'm at now. Where I'm like, now I'm actually in a better situation. I'm in a better situation now for myself than I was before, because I took years and I didn't date anyone. I just focused on my shit. You know what I mean? So I think, honestly, I just think that's the number one thing most men mess up on, is because over time, this is crazy. I tell this to people all the time. I said, as a man, our value over time increases. You know what they call that, right? SVP? SVP. Right? I've heard the term. Right? So over time, as a man, your value should increase over time. But with women, it's actually different. It's the complete opposite. It's deteriorating. So I see, I'm gonna no lie, I see I went to elementary school and high school with, and I'm like, damn, he was here. But what happens subconsciously as women over time, and it just goes the opposite way. Right? So You know, I just tell my guys, I like most of the time just say, hey man, focus on what you're trying to focus in on, and have one. If you're gonna have one, have one.
Yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
focus
Rather
on
than
what-
focus on the shit you need to take care of,
Yeah.
and have one. But you can't be out here just, you know, messing around and just acting a fool. You know what I mean? And expect to have what you want.
Yeah.
Expect to be the man that you want to be and the goals you want to achieve. Like it won't work.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So,
Man, well, honestly, that makes perfect sense, and I
Yeah.
think that's honestly really valuable information to young men. And I really appreciate you sitting down with me today, man. It was great.
my guy.
That's
appreciate
it, man. That's it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
bro.
good stuff, bro. That's literally it. Super quick, man.
Let's go.
There you go, right? Like,
It's fire.
bang, bang.